everyone, and welcome to the Week 4 edition of Instant Replay, where I give you my take on the most controversial calls of the weekend. I'm Simon Borg. We start with DC Chicago and the play that led to the first DC United goal. Referee Jerry Marufo made the right call to rule this foul by Greg Cochran on Eddie Johnson outside the box. And then Fabiana Spindola did the rest. Then, in the 73rd minute, there was a hint of a potential DC penalty kick when Patrick Nyarko made this challenge in the box on DC's Christian Fernandez. Yes, Nyarko gets ball and the man, but because this is a 50-50 ball, that's a fair challenge, even if it's in the penalty area. Good no call by Marufo. Next up, we go to Philadelphia, where referee Edvin Jurasevich and his team also had a pretty clean match. In the 26th minute, some were shouting for a red card for this Hassoun Kamara foul on Jack McInerney. But yellow is the right call because this is not denial of a clear goal-scoring opportunity. The angle matters a great deal to determine that, and the fact that Jack Mack is way out on the right means it doesn't reach the dog-so threshold. In the 34th minute, assistant referee Mark Cahan showed a great eye on the Union goal. Vincent Nogueira is not offside when he receives the through pass from McInerney, but with the defender stopping in his tracks, it was not an easy call to make. And then, late in the second half, Montreal's Andrew Wenger leaving the referee with absolutely no choice but to send him off for this studs-up tackle on Nogueira. Moving on to Vancouver, where I thought the visiting Houston Dynamo could have had two penalty kicks. First, in the 16th minute, Russell Tybert probably gets enough of a push on Brad Davis to send him down to the ground, but we don't have a better angle to say definitively. And then, in the 33rd minute, I think this is a clear handball on Andy O'Brien, who extends his arm to deflect the cross by Oscar Bonya Garcia. No call on either one by referee Kevin Stott. There was no doubt about Stott's penalty called in favor of Vancouver in the 56th minute. Kofi Sarkodie extends his arm to stop this Darren Maddox slalom into the box, and this one is called. But Kenny Miller needs to retake the PK because Darren Maddox clearly encroaches. Now, some might wonder, what would have happened had the PK been saved? Well, according to the law, it still should be retaken because players on both teams encroach. There was an early penalty kick call in Salt Lake, where RSL were facing Toronto. You see defender Donnell Henry and forward Alvaro Saborio angling for position as the ball comes in. Henry is called for throwing Saborio down to the ground, but the problem is that there's a foul before that. But you have to look carefully. You see here Saborio is grabbing and pulling on Henry's shorts before the defender ever puts his hands on him. But referee Baldomero Toledo can't possibly see it, and a veteran move by Saborio, and it pays off for RSL, who take the early lead. One more from Rio Tinto. It's the 35th minute, and look at this vicious studs-up tackle by TFC captain Stephen Caldwell on Ned Grabavoy. And it only gets a yellow from the referee. But folks, there's not much difference in my mind when I compare this to the Wenger tackle that got him sent off. Up next, Buckshaw Stadium, where the Revs beat the Quakes on a controversial stoppage time goal scored by Lee Wynn. And it's controversial because of how the play started. A foul is whistled, and the ball is still in motion when the restart is taken. That's in violation of Law 13, which says that, quote, the ball must be stationary when the free kick is taken. Technically, play should have been stopped and the free kick retaken. But that wasn't the only controversy that referee David Gantar had on his hands in this one. The Quakes wanted a PK for an alleged handball by AJ Soares in the 41st minute. But to me, this replay shows the ball making contact with Soares' shoulder, not his arm. That's a good no call by Gantar. But on the other end, I thought the Revs had two legitimate penalty shouts. First, in the 76th minute, Clarence Goodson clips the right leg of Charlie Davies inside the box. That's a PK to me. And then in the 87th minute, Jordan Stewart first holds Teal Bunbury and then pushes him with both arms. But neither of the incidents were ruled a PK on the field. Gantar got it right on another penalty dispute in the 90th minute. This cross by Cordell Cato does hit the arm of Chris Tierney, but this was ball to hand. There was no way Tierney had any time to react. Gantar didn't call it, and rightly so in my opinion. Moving to Red Bull Arena, where we have plenty to look at. First, the penalty kick awarded to Chivas USA. Defender Richard Eckersley clearly has his right arm on Thomas McNamara, and penalty is the right call by referee Juan Guzman, and Eric El Cubo Torres converts. I think the GOAT should have had another penalty kick in the 39th minute. You see here how New York center back Armando has a fistful of shorts here, and it sends Carlos Alvarez to the ground near the end line. That's a foul and a penalty to me, but Guzman doesn't call it. Could there have even been a third spot kick for Chivas? In the 27th minute, we see Red Bull's defender Jamison Olave extend his arm here, but it's unclear where exactly the shot strikes him, on his head or his arm. And there are no replays available to dissect this one. No call was made, but I still have my doubts. Now to a couple of red cards that could have gone against the Red Bulls. Early in the game, in the 9th minute, El Cubo Torres was the victim of a vicious forearm to the head from Eckersley right along the sideline, but there was no call made. I thought Eckersley could have been sent off for that. Another potential red card incident came in the 20th minute. You see here Roy Miller stomping on the foot of Mauro Rosales with the ball long gone. Miller is so late here and makes absolutely no attempt to get out of the way that I wouldn't be surprised to see the disciplinary committee come down on this. Lastly, the Red Bulls scored a goal in the second half that was called back by the referee, and rightly so. Bradley Wright Phillips barrels into goalkeeper Dan Kennedy, who has possession of the ball, and he can't be challenged if he has possession. Now, the Red Bulls would eventually get their goal in this one, but it came in the 5th minute of stoppage time. Heading to Seattle now, where the Crew earned a 2-1 win on a stoppage time goal of their own by Justin Merrim. But just minutes before that, they had a case for a penalty when Chad Marshall looks to be tugging on the back of Jairo Arrieta's jersey. No penalty is called, and we don't have another look at it. This game turned on the red card and penalty kick awarded in the second half. There's no doubt about either one, as Jimmy Traore chops down Dominic Oduro just as he gets into his shooting motion. No brainer for referee Alan Chapman, but the question here is whether the play should have been stopped well before. With the benefit of the freeze frame, we can see that Oduro is slightly offside when the ball is touched in his direction, but it's really slight, so we're going to cut assistant referee Jeff Mushik some slack. The referee had a case of simulation to handle early in this game. It's the 8th minute, and Hector Jimenez goes diving over the Ozzy Alonso slide tackle. He gets a yellow, and because the ref saw it and disciplined the action, don't expect the disciplinary committee to step in here. It's a good thing because the committee already has a lot on its hands with the double red card shown in Dallas to Michael Harrington and Javon Watson for violent conduct. It happens in the 40th minute, but the incident is off the ball and out of the sight of the cameras. But it happened right under the nose of assistant referee George Gansner, who flags the referee. The only thing we do see on the match broadcast is that Harrington is in fact signaling to Gansner as if Watson was guilty of something. But until we get a better angle, not much more can be added to that discussion. Worth highlighting from this one is a great offside call made by Gansner in the 30th minute. Fabian Castillo is in fact offside before sending this ball into the back of the net. There are those who wanted Castillo to get a second yellow card for a dive in the 50th minute, but I disagree. If you look carefully, Alvis Powell actually gets his left arm in and looks to push Castillo from behind. Forget simulation, this could have easily been a PK, but referee Soren Stoica lets play continue. I wouldn't have had an issue with Stoica issuing 2 red cards in this game. First, in the 57th minute, you see Blas Perez deliver an elbow to the head of Alvis Powell. I think he knew exactly where Powell's head was. Very similar to the Eckersley forearm from New York. And if you don't think it's violent conduct, it's at least reckless, and Perez was already sitting on a yellow. And then in stoppage time, we see another brutal studs-up tackle. This one by Pablo Ruca on Kellen Acosta. Only a yellow card is issued, but to me this is identical to the Stephen Caldwell and Andrew Winger play. But only one of the 3 was sent off on the day. And we end at Dick's Sporting Goods Park, where we saw a very interesting situation in the 29th minute. Goalkeeper Eric Kronberg gets tangled with Vicente Sanchez outside the box, and Kronberg is called for the foul, but many wanted to see him sent off for denial of a goal-scoring opportunity. No way! Take a moment to look at where Sanchez finds himself on this play, with his rear end on the ground. There's no way he's about to do anything, let alone score a goal. So trying to cite dog-so here doesn't work. Yellow is the right call by referee Jose Carlos Rivero, and unsporting behavior is the infraction for preventing a player from getting to the ball. You want a red card? It should have come in the 40th minute. Look at how Drew Moore goes out of his way to whack Claudio Bieler in the head for no reason. I think the disciplinary committee might have something to say about this one. Next, the 2 penalties awarded to Colorado. We're still unclear about what exactly is being whistled on the first one in the 58th minute. If there's a player getting fouled in this instant, it's Casey's Iko Para who gets hit with the studs of Colorado rookie Jared Watts. That's the foul that should have been called by the referee. I see no PK offense being committed. I think Rivero makes the right call in the 77th minute as Benny Feilhaber doesn't come close to getting the ball and chops down Shane O'Neill in the box. And lastly, Rivero was spot on with the second yellow to Marvell Wynn. The Rapids defender comes in super late and stomps on Graham Zusi. No brainer. So there you have it. 6 penalty kicks, 5 red cards. That's my kind of week. We'll be back to do it again next week. For our editor, John Benton, I'm Simon Borg. See you next time.